What is going on, y'all? It is the Caveman. I'm here with Football with Oz Austin for episode 36 of Against the Blitz. And we're hitting another Summit episode back to back because why not? We plan to go through as many positional groups with these Summit episodes as we can. And they're just so fun to do. It's the off season. It's a list season. It's ranking season. It's the time of year to just kind of rip this kind of stuff apart. So we're going to do the tight ends today, and we're going to have just as much fun as we've been having these last few weeks.
Yes. Tight ends are underrated. That's why they created Tight End U in the first place. Because the tight ends don't feel like they get the recognition they deserve. So we're going to give them the recognition that they deserve. We broke it down into a few categories. We're going to do, our favorite, the build your own tight end. We're going to do our top 10 tight ends in the NFL, overrated, underrated, breakout candidates, regression candidates, and some dogs. And then we might throw in a few extra categories as well.
Yeah, you have no idea where this one is going. So
I don't. I actually don't either.
Yeah, no, we really don't either. We have our structure, but the route that these things take is always goes off course. But we'll start with the build your own tight end, and the categories are somewhat similar to pretty much the receivers, but if you remember, we do have build, strength, run blocking, pass blocking, hands, route running, IQ, yak, yards after catch, and drip makes its second appearance in the build your own list. This should be fun. I want to hear what your tight end looks like top to bottom.
What does mine look like? Well, build, I picked Cole Kmet. We got like a 6'6", burly, handsome, because build is your face. And I almost picked someone else, but he was kind of ugly. So I went with Cole Kmet because he is a top 5 most handsome tight end, and he's buff. Strength, Tip Ryman from the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know if you guys have seen his Illinois run blocking tape, but that's the strongest tight end in the NFL. And people only know him for saying that the birds weren't real at his combine interview. Rack ability, we're going with Brock Bowers. There's a reason he led all NFL tight ends in yards after the catch. The dude has some juice. Hands, in my opinion, this was easy. Hunter Henry. This dude catches every ball ever thrown to him. The only reason he doesn't produce is he's just really unathletic. But like in terms of hands, nobody does it better. Run blocking, we went with George Kittle. That doesn't really need too much of an answer for you. Pass pro, I picked Darnell Washington. I almost put him for build, but he is a little ugly. So we went with a more handsome option. Route running, Trey McBride. Just ask John Gruden. Have you ever heard him scream about Trey McBride's corner routes? Like he loves Trey McBride corner routes. IQ of Travis Kelce. Again, doesn't need too much of a reasoning. And then drip, easy choice, David Njoku. The dude is iced out. 24/7. Even with like the burnt face, he looked cold.
There were some shocking appearances. Well, not appearances per se, but the order you have some of the guys in. I went a different route with a few of them. I did not factor in how handsome they were. I'm kind of upset I didn't.
It does matter, yeah.
Because that certainly, of course, matters. And honestly, I can't even think. I don't think this guy's ugly, but he's definitely not a top 5 most attractive guy ever. But for my build, I have Donald Parham, the 6'8" monster that is like buried on every depth chart ever because in all reality, he's not good, but he's super big. So I also almost took Darnell for that too, but I decided to give Darnell Washington the strength category. He's just, he's huge. He's basically a tackle. That goes without saying. Run blocking, I ended up going with Will Dissly. He is to be able to run block in Greg Roman's scheme and be the constant go-to guy. That's not easy to do. He's always been a run blocking tight end. I think people kind of forgot that was his MO, before Los Angeles, but that was because he somehow was like their second best pass catcher last year. That just goes to show how bad they were at the skill position room. So Will Dissly's my run blocking. Pass blocking, this was hard for me. I went with somebody that was doing a lot of blocking more than receiving in an offense that utilized play action a lot. And I took Adam Troutman for that. And he did a solid job, and he really was not running any sort of route out of play action very often from what I could find. So, and he did a good job in pass protection. Hands, I can't believe you didn't go with Mike Gesicki.
I almost
for hands.
did. It's just boring because I'm a Bengals fan. I'm wearing a sweatshirt right now. he was up there, but Hunter Henry also has just been doing it for so long that I had to give him his flowers.
That's fair. Gesicki's he does the thing T. Higgins does, where he just holds the ball out in front of away from the DB, and it makes it look like the catch was like that much harder than it probably really was. Or he does make the occasional one-handed catch here and there.
He does. Yeah, that's really easy for him. Like, he has mitts, like top 5 hands. Absolutely.
Yeah. I was kind of shocked being the Bengals fan, but I guess
I try not to be biased.
Yeah, that's fair. Route running, I went Brock Bowers for this one. I think you could have went Rack here. Bowers had to make the list somewhere. IQ, I also took Travis Kelce. Yards after catch is where I went George Kittle. I feel like once he gets going downhill, he's impossible to tackle. And drip, I'm glad we were on the same page with this one. David Njoku is by far the drippiest tight end in the league.
The dude like exploded his face with fireworks and then came back with like the sickest looking mask I've ever seen. Like he can drip even when he's like literally on fire. It's so cool.
He always is warming up without a shirt on too. Like, it'll be like a -4 degrees outside, and he's one of those psychos that is going out there and like jumping 6 feet in the air, catching passes and warm-ups with one hand. It's like, you are a maniac, but he looks sick doing it the entire time.
I feel like his like appearance like makes people think that he's even better than he is, because he is like pretty good, but like people have him in crazy conversations because he just looks really good doing it.
Well, fair. I might be one of those guys. I'm a big David Njoku fan.
I like him too, but
well, I guess on that note, we can get into where do you want to go? I mean, top. We have a lot of interesting. Let's go underrated first. Let's start positively.
Okay. Well, I led the last one, so I'll let you drop your top 5 underrated.
My top 5 underrated. Now, these are guys that I tried to stir away from any starters. I feel like I've done this thing where in the last couple episodes, I have had players that start or they get a lot of reps and not necessarily get the ball a lot. But these guys are definitively backups. So at number 5, I have Harrison Bryant. He is now with Philadelphia. He was previously with the Browns. He was one of, at least in recent memory for me, one of their better tight ends that they've had over the last few years. And he's well-rounded. He's in, like I said, in Philadelphia now. And he's going to be battling it out with Grant Calcaterra for their second tight end spot. And I'd be willing to bet he beats him out. So I'm giving Harrison Bryant some love. At 4, I have Colby Parkinson, another great run blocker. He's a guy that always has, I think he's just vicious. He's vicious. And I think he did a good job filling in for Higbee when he was out in Los Angeles. That tight end room is very packed right now, but they all serve a purpose. So Colby Parkinson. I also have Michael Mayer on here. I was kind of annoyed not annoyed, but I was a little upset for Michael Mayer when Bowers came along because he got 1 year. He didn't do very much, to be fair. But then it's like, now there's no shot that we're going to see any sort of receiving production from Mayer, which is fine. He was a trade candidate for a while, but I think his services probably in another team could be amplified. I also have Luke Musgrave on here. It hurts my heart that things went the way they did for Luke Musgrave last year because I was pounding the Luke Musgrave drum like for months. I thought he was going to be the sleeper tight end of the year. And I'll never forget the first Packers game. I think they played the international game week 1 against.
They played the Eagles in Brazil week 1.
And I remember like the first pass of the game went to a Packers tight end, and it was not Luke Musgrave. And I was like, "Where's Luke?" I started to panic. No. I'm like, "Oh my god!"
It's so easy to fall for like the 6'6" smooth moving tight end. Remember, like people loved Zach Kuntz from Old Dominion last year so much because he's like 6'8" and athletic. They never play. No. They literally never do. Like people liked Josh Wiley a few years ago for the Titans. Like they never work, but like it's so easy to fall in love with every single year. Terrence Ferguson, mind you.
Watch it. Watch
Terrence
it.
Ferguson's on there.
Well, I guess in my mind, Luke was relatively productive his rookie season. Like, he showed that he could probably be the tight end one. I think he's just also been on and off the field with injuries.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I was wrong to expect the Packers to be a pass first team, which I thought would have led to Luke being on the field a lot more than anyone else. But they ran the ball every fucking chance that they could. Like, they only passed when they had to. So that also hurt Luke's chances because Tucker Kraft is certainly the better trench player. But then at number 1, I do have my boy Dawson Knox. I have given a lot of shit to Dawson Knox over the last couple seasons. He got extended for a pretty penny, and he's really done nothing, honestly, production-wise, like statistically speaking. But the Bills being as run-heavy as they are, to not really have a Sam Laporta or, any of these other George Kittles, we don't really have that. Dawson Knox is that for Buffalo, and I think he does a damn good job at it. So that's not what we drafted him to be. That's not what the plan for him was in his Bills career. So for him to adapt and kind of mold his own role in this offense when Kincaid came in too, I got to give him some love.
I love it. I remember, like, that was like the first year I started scouting, and I loved Dawson Knox. He never really came like fully true. He was like knocking on the door of being like a top 15, top 10 tight end for a while, but then they drafted Kincaid in the first round, and now neither of them are. So congrats, Kincaid. You ruined Dawson Knox. But I put 2 starters and 3 backups. But these starters need some recognition too. Again, Hunter Henry, number 1 most underrated tight end. If he wasn't playing with absolute bums since he played with Herbert, he would have been so much higher on this list. And he looked great when he was on the Chargers. He was Herbert's best receiver damn near when he first started. So Hunter Henry absolutely needs it. Number 2, Austin Hooper, also Patriot. Dude, if you watched one Patriots game last year, if you turned on the tape, if you even tried to bother, you would see Austin Hooper making plays downfield every single game. And I know they love just to glaze Pop Douglas, like, oh, he's going to be an All-Pro soon, I swear. No, Austin Hooper was right up there with being their productive safety blanket tight end. He's good, way better than Mo Alley Cox, and I'm not getting into that again. I do have Tyler Higbee on here because people seem to forget about Tyler Higbee. Like, I keep seeing rankings and he's like bottom 5 of all starters, which he like when Tyler Higbee is healthy, he is like on that like healthy Dawson Knox level. But in my opinion, a little better than that even. Like, he's a really good player when he's not getting shattered by Kirby Joseph.
Yeah.
I also put Noah Gray on here, the Chiefs' backup tight end, because like they keep running out like 3 to 4 white guys at a time, and you never really know who's who. Like Justin Watson, Travis Kelce, him, Peyton Hendershot, who they traded for. Like, you never really know what the white guy is that caught the ball, but half the time it's Noah Gray, and he always makes like the bigger plays. It feels like so he deserves to be on here. And then the best tight end on the Seahawks, AJ Barner. People love Noah Fant. People have loved Noah Fant. I think he's also a bit of a drip merchant. Really, he looks really good, so people think that he's really good, but he actually like, can't block or produce. AJ Barner can at least block his ass off, so he should be the starter in Seattle, and he is like the most underrated tight end in the NFL.
Wow, that's a statement. That's a bold statement.
Yeah,
AJ Barner, most underrated tight end. I mean, even when Parkinson was there with Fant too, and he was the better tight end at that time, or if they played together. Fant, yeah, he is a drip merchant. He's an RAS score merchant too.
Yeah, like he beat Ohio State that one time. Cool. He was tight end too. TJ Hawkinson was their starting tight end at Iowa. Like, Fant has always been a tight end too, and he always will be.
Yeah.
He was part of the Russell Wilson trade, and everyone just forgot about him, and kind of rightfully so, but he still has a hive that's like very, very alive. Yeah, and they shouldn't be, because Barner and Elijah Arroyo are both better.
Well, it's the same people that whoever migrated away from Noah Fant's hive is now in Zach Kuntz's hive.
Right. It's like the tall, athletic, like good-looking tight end. That's their guy.
Yeah, I almost put Hunter Henry on here too, but then I had, I wanted to keep to the backups. So I stuck with that. But Hunter for sure had to make this list. I don't know if I'm gonna end up giving him as much love as he deserves personally, but I'm glad you're filling in for that.
Always will.
Underrated. Overrated.
Overrated.
I got a couple names on here, none of which are that shocking, but I have a couple agendas to push. So
okay,
I'll let you spread. I'm going to call this part of these episodes like your love spreading list because you refuse to hate.
I don't like to hate.
Yeah,
but these guys are 5 guys that I think are a little bit too liked by the media. Number 1 comfortably is Jonnu Smith, in my opinion. He had a couple really nice games. Fantasy games really was why people love him. And that was kind of like when Tyreek and Jalen Waddle weren't really healthy. But I think like when everybody's back and they're going to run the ball more, I just don't think he gets that target share ever again in his career. 2 is Dalton Kincaid, sadly, because there's still some people that think he's so good. Like people think he can be up knocking on the door of that top 10 tight end, but I just don't see it. Like he just didn't put it together. And then the playoffs happened and everyone wanted to shoot him. 3, I do have Sam Laporta, and I still think he's very, very good. But I think a lot of that also came from him just running the Ben Johnson scheme very well. And I do worry a little bit about his ability to create on his own. 4, to a degree, do not assassinate me, Darnell Washington. There is a hive of people that think that Darnell Washington needs to be like a starter in the NFL, but he's a blocker, and that's all he really is to me. He's Will Dissly on steroids, and Will Dissly should not be starting, if that means anything to you. And then I do have Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet's good. He's fine, whatever. But he should not be the number 1 receiving tight end on his team. He can't get open or win after the catch or win at the catch point. He's just a really good blocker. And people wanted to beat up Colston Loveland for being drafted in the first. But Cole Kmet hasn't done anything the last 5 years to make that make sense for me.
Yeah, I agree with most of those. I think Darnell Washington, I mean, I went on my own rant of Darnell Washington when we talked about the Steelers. Yeah, I just cannot stand how many routes that guy runs. He's just on the field too much. That motherfucker needs to get the hell off the field. The Steelers, I think they overrate him tremendously, which I guess makes sense. He's on their team, but he just
I mean, he's a beast at blocking. He's not even winning in the red zone. They're not throwing him these fade balls like they thought they would be doing.
Mm-hmm.
He's just trotting along with his footsteps so heavy, just do. We want football. And then he just trips and the ball hits the ground. It's so bad.
Yeah, and the Steelers wonder why their offense was so sluggish and just awful last year. They had they had nothing. They had Najee Harris, Darnell Washington, Pat Freiermuth out there. Their best field extender with speed was Calvin Austin. And then there was Pickens, who just ran straight up and down the sideline. So,
yeah.
Oh, man.
Sad. All right. Give me your agendas. Give me your hate train.
So, I'll start at the top. Jonnu Smith was on this list for me. I think, like you said, fantasy definitely talks when it comes to these conversations. And Jonnu Smith benefited from the fantasy community this past season. So, I can't imagine he has that season again. Mike Gesicki also makes this list. He's always just been Mike Gesicki. He's very good at what he does, but if you don't need that service, he's irrelevant to your
Everyone
team.
Boo him. Boo that guy. He's a hater.
If he wasn't on he makes so much sense in Cincinnati, but if he was anywhere else, literally anywhere else, I think he'd be irrelevant again.
I do agree with that. He's the Bengal. He's the tight end they've needed for so long, but they're also the team he's needed for so long.
Yes.
So I do 100% agree.
It's a match made in heaven with those two. So I'm glad he's found a home, but I won't call him a system merchant, but he definitely needs to be in the right place.
Hey, he did lead all tight ends in yards against man coverage. I will say that.
He better have.
He's a beast.
If he wants to be on the fucking field, he better.
Yeah.
I also have not Darnell Washington, but I put Pat Freiermuth on here. And it kind of hurt because I like Pat Freiermuth, but it feels like he's been one of those guys, kind of like how you were talking about Kincaid, it feels like he's on the brink of potentially being like a top 10 tight end or a top 8 tight end. And he's just been underwhelming, like for an offense that has not really any sort of pass catchers that really could use an over the middle of the field presence. There's just too many like 2 or 3 catch games. And I'm like, where is fucking Pat Freiermuth? And I've had him on my fantasy teams thinking this is the year. This is the year. Where the fuck is Pat Freiermuth? He just hasn't really had that breakout season that I thought he was on pace to have when he got into the NFL. So I like him. I just don't think he's going to be much better than what he is now. I also have Dalton Schultz on here. Dalton Schultz kind of also that receiving sort of tight end, but he's not very good at it. So he's just very mid. Like Dalton Schultz is the definition of mid. Like there are just so many other guys I would rather have over Dalton Schultz to serve the purpose Dalton Schultz serves. Like I'm so glad that the Cowboys moved on from Schultz because Ferguson was much better than Schultz was ever. So he just, I don't know. And that's another team that could use a tight end presence that he's just kind of there. He has like one game every like 7 weeks where he has like 6 catches for 80 yards. And my last agenda to push is TJ Hawkinson. This is one that I formulated this past season because he's only used in 11 personnel. And I'm not saying because that's necessarily his fault, because, you know, the Vikings have guys like Josh Oliver on their team, but for him to be just an 11 personnel type of tight end, a receiving tight end, and he's good at it, but people put him in these almost top 5-4 conversations, and I don't think he's as good of a receiver as a lot of guys in the league. And I think given the other attributes that come along with playing tight end that he really doesn't have to do because he's not asked to, I think he gets slightly pushed up the list, especially, you know, coming off a knee injury and stuff. I just don't know if he's that tight end he was when he transitioned from the end of his Lions career to the start of the Vikings. I'm kind of out on Hawkinson, at least comparatively.
I just want to see healthy Hawkinson again.
Yeah.
Because I watched like every Hawkinson snap in 2023 because I had him on my team and he was so good. Like there was nobody in the league better at finding the soft spot in the zone, getting me fantasy points, getting me like 15 points a game. It was bliss. But yeah, I mean, it is worrisome after the injury. Like in my rankings, I kind of like always assume people will come back healthy, but it is fair to play that into effect.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like he is a good receiving tight end, but there are other guys that I think are just as good that do more. So that's really what it comes down to.
That's fair.
How about some breakout candidates?
I'm into this.
Yes, there are some names here that I am excited for this season. I'll let you run through your 5.
All right. Number 1, we got Brenton Strange. He's kind of the one people are excited about from Jacksonville. And really, he's only one of a few tight ends that's really getting his chance to break out. So he's an easy one, but like he looks good. And I trust Liam Cohen to get the best out of their receivers because they still only have like 2 good ones. So I wouldn't be shocked if Brenton Strange is like a much bigger role than last year. Number 2, this is only possible. I don't think it happens, but Chika Okonkwo. He does have like arguably the most rack juice in the NFL of any tight end. I almost put him at that spot because if I'm picking a tight end to take a screen 75 yards, I'm taking Okonkwo easy. And like Cam Ward likes his tight ends. He's still only like 24, 25, plenty of time for a breakout still. It could happen. Number 3, my draft darling from like a year ago, Ben Sinnott. I feel like, I mean, spoiler, Zach Ertz has a chance to, regress a little bit. He's just so old. And he struggled with health for his career. So if Ben Sinnott gets the chance to start, he's going to blow up. I did put Theo Johnson only because there's just he's like 23 years old and tight ends do take a while to develop. So there is a chance that he can take advantage of all of his crazy physical tools and be pretty good. And then 5, I put this in air quotes because I think he can kind of re-break out. And that's Evan Ingram, where it's someone that like kind of his career seemed to be ending. But going to Denver, like, I think that does give him a really good chance in the Sean Payton offense to like bring back like 2 to 3 good years.
Yeah, he definitely is needed in Denver. Like they were desperately looking for that big slot, that presence at the tight end spot. Like I talked about Adam Troutman, who was basically their starting tight end, who I don't even know had like 20 catches on the year. Like I don't know if he did anything.
Barely, yeah.
He is a guy that I think could fit this description. That was a good angle to take. My 5, I have a couple similar names. I also have Brenton Strange. He is my Luke Musgrave of this season.
Oh, don't say that.
Not in a bad way, but I am that hyped for him. I'm going to be drafting Brenton Strange late a lot in fantasy football. That he, even when Evan Ingram was hurt, is still in Jacksonville, Strange had a couple games where he had 4 or 5 grabs. So he was already making a dent in that offense last season. I do also have Chigakonko on here. He is finally getting a quarterback that is semi-viable, hopefully, in Cam Ward. So, and there's really no one else receiving wise there. Like there's Calvin Ridley, there's Tyler Lockett, and that's kind of it. Like like a human
over, yeah.
But like he's probably got, talk about juice, not just rack juice. He's probably got the second most juice in that entire offense. So
like actually, yeah.
And Spears, I guess if you're counting running backs, he's probably got more juice than Pollard.
I think he's legit faster than Spears in a straight line. That's not even a joke. Like I think he actually is.
That's crazy. So hopefully we'll see some creativity with Cam Ward and Chig.
Yeah.
I also have Tyler Warren on here, and only because I feel like the perception of him right now, and I guess this could have gone for underrated too, is just so just damper. Is that the word I want? It's just like dreary.
Yeah, so wet blanket on his season outlook.
Yes, exactly. It's like a rainy day outside when you're looking at Tyler Warren's house. And I guess I get it, but at the same time, A, they have to throw to somebody, and B, he is still very good. He is still somebody that is going to make, I can see this guy having 10 touchdowns this season easily.
He might 4 of them rushing.
Yes, I think they are going to use him in almost a similar role that he was playing in Penn State. Maybe not as much, and they won't lean on it, but I think we'll see chances for Tyler Warren to make a similar impact, which people were saying like, oh, he's not going to be able to run Penn State's offense in the NFL. It's like, well, who knows? Maybe he will.
I mean,
so
awesome. He also had like 1,300 yards and like 20 touchdowns. If he gets half of that, that's a good season. So like, yeah, awesome. He won't produce how he did in his like record-setting year. Cool. He's still going to be good.
So I think, especially because he is their tight end 1, no question, he has a chance to break out. I also have Hunter Henry on here. I forgot I had him on this list.
Give me that.
So just like the way you kind of approach the Evan Ingram conversation, it's kind of similar. This is a guy that's been in the league for a long time, but he's just, as you said, have had no one throwing to him that's been consistent. Drake May was good last year. I think Drake May is going to get better. And as long as Hunter Henry's on the field, Hunter Henry's going to be catching touchdowns. He's going to be an impact down the field, over the middle. So I think him and Drake May could develop a pretty good connection that could lead him to putting up numbers similar to his Los Angeles days.
Please. That would do so well for my positive agenda.
Yeah.
I only have positive agendas. No such thing as a bad agenda for me.
So lame. That's so lame.
Only thing.
Well, my number 5 then is Harold Fannin, who this is barring. Actually, what was my route with this? Because what did I forget about?
Who knows? He's poop.
Did I forget Njoku existed when I made this? I had a route.
If I could guess your angle on this, it would be that the Cleveland Browns failed to bring in an actual slot presence, and that's where Harold Fannin probably projects to be best in the NFL. So it would make sense that Harold Fannin can kind of run some 11.5 personnel, win from the slot, and be productive.
Yeah.
For Mr. Joe Flacco, week 1 starter.
Yeah, I mean, they really don't have. Who do they have playing in the slot?
Michael Woods or David Bell right now are. I think didn't they bring in Deontay Johnson? But he's cut soon.
Yeah,
he gets cut in week 5, and they're all so excited about it. Like maybe this time after the last 4 teams, maybe this will be the time he breaks out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
please.
Exactly. I didn't know that guy was such a problem, but
I didn't either until he like left Pittsburgh in a hurry, and then got passed around the league. It's rough,
literally. And he was like a dog for me when he was with Carolina, but that didn't last. Those days were short lived. I did get some good trade value out of him though.
There you go.
Talk about a scam artist. That was bad.
Yeah.
All right. Those are our 5 breakout. We will go into let's do regression, I guess, right? That would make the most sense.
Yeah, drop the guys you think are terrible and the guys that you think suck.
Well, my regression are pretty quick. These are guys that we've kind of talked about already. Johnny Smith is not going to replicate the season he had last year. There's zero chance in hell he has 800 yards, like 90 targets. He had an absurd amount of volume. Not happening. And he's also like 31. So,
right. Yeah.
Zach Ertz also was on here. You kind of alluded to that earlier. I was shocked that he had the impact he had last year. Can't imagine he's able to spin that back, especially after all the hype we heard about Ben Sinnott. We thought that guy was going to be the next fucking great one in Washington.
He is still. He's like 23. Give him some time.
Maybe.
Give him time.
I just want. What was his name?
What are you, a John Bates fan? You monster.
No, it was who was the tight end from a few years ago that was really
Logan Thomas?
No. It was like 7-8 years ago.
Jordan Reed.
Thank you. I just want Jordan Reed back.
Yeah. I was wondering how far we'd go back. Fred Davis, Chris Cooley. Where are we going with this?
Chris Cooley.
He'll come up later.
Jordan Reed, please. I mean, he already has started to regress, but I do have Kelsey on here too. He's just, there's no way the trajectory at any point goes back up. He'll probably just every like 4 or 5 weeks when they need him to, he'll be like, I'm going to try this week. And then he'll really put his effort in. But he's not the tight end he used to be.
No.
I really didn't have any other names. Like, it's hard to fit regression for tight ends here.
It's like an age thing. Like, there's so many old tight ends. Like, I put Zach Ertz as well. I just put age. It's like my only note. He's old and he's injury prone throughout his career. Like, it'd be crazy to put together the same season. I did put Travis Kelce, not even for any reason you mentioned, but only because I saw that picture of him like changing his shirt by his car, where he looks like fat and hairy. I was like, there's no way he could do. Like, there's no way he's good. He that was such a bad build. He looked like Rob Riggle. It was not good.
Who took that picture? Like, if
I
you're
don't
the
know.
Paparazzi, like, and you see that, why are you taking that picture? Like, what does that do for your career? That you took a picture of Travis Kelce, like,
it helps me avoid him in fantasy, I guess. Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah. Someone that doesn't look like that, Noah Fant. I also have him on my list, not because he's fat and hairy, but just because, like I said, I think AJ Barner will slowly take that role, and them investing in Elijah Arroyo kind of plays what everyone thought Noah Fant would be. He might start getting cycled out soon. I did put Sam Laporta again, only because of like the Ben Johnson concerns. Like, when you lose the best play caller in the NFL, you're bound to possibly regress. It's not too crazy. And then I did put Mark Andrews on here, who I still think is an actually like really fantastic tight end talent. But I feel like he's in his own head right now, and he needs a change of scenery to like get it out, but they didn't trade him. So I am a little bit worried. Like, have you ever seen Happy Gilmore?
Yes.
Like, do you remember like the guy like, yeah, jackass?
Yes.
I feel like I think he hears Christian Benford like every time he goes to catch a pass, just yelling like, you're going to miss it. Yeah, jackass. And then he just drops it. Like, he can't do anything about it. So like, if he went to like the Chargers, it would have been great, but everyone apparently hates him. Now he's just going to melt. He could have been a Giant.
Yeah, he's going to melt.
What are you, anti-Daniel Bellinger propaganda? Is that what this is?
No, Daniel Bellinger had one picture preseason like 2 years ago where he was jacked out of his mind, and everyone was saying shit.
I'm telling you, being a drip merchant is a thing. If you just look good, if you're like jacked and you have a visor on,
yes,
you're good automatically. I remember the exact photo. He had a black visor and looked huge, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" And then I remember everybody drafted him in fantasy. He had like 12 catches for like 180 yards on the year. That was it.
Trip merchants. There are a lot of those in the league. But yeah, I mean, I do think regression, though, like you said, it definitely is age based. I also had a hard time finding guys like for quarterbacks. There were some quarterbacks that I felt like had really good seasons that I just could not imagine that they put together again. And I didn't think anybody tight end wise fit that other than Jonnu Smith. So it was tough to do that one for me.
Jonnu's the only one that I think just regresses based off of like his actual play. Everyone else, it was either because they're losing a star quarterback, they're losing a play caller, or they're just getting old. Jonnu's the only one where I'm like, he just benefited so much last year from the injuries on his own team, and he just was like eating a monster target share. But I think that just goes away, and he just goes back to being good old Jonnu that we know and love.
Yeah, who was catching like 3 passes a game, if that. Back in Atlanta.
Like 3 catches for 79 yards and a touchdown because he'd take one to the house.
Yes.
I do remember feeling crazy though, saying that I thought Jonnu was better than Kyle Pitts in Atlanta, and people thought I was a madman. And now look at me. I'm a genius.
I'm a genius. Man. There's no justification for that. You're just psychotic for saying that. Well, it just happened to work out.
It didn't happen to work out. I made it work out.
Okay. Kyle Pitts got hit with the orb of confusion.
The orb, yes.
Never been the same.
No, I got him.
All right. What should we go to next? We have a few categories left here.
We have the DAWGS category because there is a guy I mentioned recently that did see my DAWGS category.
All right. So this is a new category. We're doing the top 5 dogs, and this is completely up to our own interpretation. So
right.
We have no idea what the criteria for this is for the other person. So I'm excited to hear what it took to make your list. For me, DAWGS was kind of a way to encapsulate a tight end that also is just a nasty run blocker who gets down and dirty in the trenches, who I also think just is a dog. Like he's just, you look at him, he's a dog. Like whether he has drip or whether he stands there, like he can just stand there with his arms crossed. You're like, that motherfucker's a dog. Like that's the kind of vibe I get from all these guys. So at 5, I do have Sam Laporta. I'm more for the on-field, and I get you've been very anti-Sam Laporta this episode, and I'm kind of upset about it.
He's whatever. He's good. He's good.
He's going to bounce back. I feel the opposite. I think this year he was hindered by an ankle injury that he just kept playing through all of last season, and he just wouldn't let it heal. I'm hoping that was the case because
please.
You don't have a 10 plus touchdown season as a tight end your rookie year and just fall off the face of the planet unless you're Sam Laporta. So I guess it might happen. He could be the first one. But he makes my list. Trey McBride also has to make this list. Like that guy's tatted up. That guy's mean. He will just completely dunk on you in the back of the end zone, but also shove you over on the line of scrimmage. Like Trey McBride easily makes this list for me. Tyler Warren too. He just looking at Tyler Warren. Just go look up a picture of Tyler Warren. Like that's a dog. Yeah. That's all it takes. George Kittle has to make it too. Like how does he not? George Kittle's just a maniac in every way. But he's also one of those guys that's like he comes off as the nice guy, but then I would imagine like on the field and then in the game, he's like ferocious. Like you do not want to get in George Kittle's way. So, and my last is Tucker Kraft. That guy is also just mean, and he came on the scene and crushed my Luke Musgrave hopes, as I've explained. But I also can appreciate why that happened and how good he was, helping the Packers move the ball on the ground. Like that guy was mean. Good.
I love Tucker Kraft. Yeah, he had a nice interview talking about blocking. And all the shit talk that he says to everybody all game long, and he is a dog just for that alone. I went a pretty different route. I actually didn't include any current players.
Oh shit!
I was so tired of talking about all the current players. I was like, what am I gonna just mention Njoku for the 5th time today? Yeah. I went a little bit of a different route, but I will start. I did put Gronk. Gronk is the definition. That is who I think of when I think of a dog on the football field. He's maniacally laughing as he just runs you over. That's a dog. I did put Jeremy Shockey on here. because that dude is a beast. People don't know how good Jeremy Shockey was these days, but he was a monster. I did put Chris Cooley here as well, because I don't know if anybody's ever seen the NFL Fantasy Files commercial where he shoots his arms through like a piece of drywall and catches a ball on the other end of the wall. That was the coolest commercial I've ever seen. So Chris Cooley gets a mention for that. Todd Heap, the best 2-point conversion converter in the history of the NFL. Honorable mention is Duke Johnson, but Todd Heap was the best 50-50 ball tight end I have ever seen in my life. And then I did put Nick Boyle because his run blocking tape is the best run blocking tape of any tight end I have ever seen. And he was like 290 pounds. Like he was just a big, beefy, like he looked like a cop you would see at like a BLM riot. Like he would beat he would get on the fire hose and spray you down just for how you look. Like Nick Boyle is an animal. I need to see a picture of Nick. Yeah, oh my God, he looks terrifying. That's a dog.
That's crazy.
I'm sure he believes in equal rights, but he doesn't look like it. That's kind of
What's his name? You said Nick
Boyle from the Ravens like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You look up a picture of Nick Boyle. You see what I'm saying? Like he looks like he would use extra force depending on what you look like when arresting you. Like he does look really scary. And he is huge. Like he's so strong.
He is humongous.
And that dude could run block like an animal.
Well, I'm kind of upset I didn't take it this route, but I'm looking at some names. Looking at some names here that I think could have also made your list. I mean, I'm trying to stick to guys that I can certifiably say I watched with my own 2 eyes, at least whether that was on a highlight tape or when he was in the league.
Yeah, I'm not doing like Mike Ditka on my list.
Right, exactly. I would say, I mean, Jimmy Graham was kind of a psychopath too, wasn't he? Yep. If I remember correctly, like
he was, yes.
Guy was
for like nuts. 3 years. He was the best tight end that I've ever seen.
The last thing I remember about Jimmy Graham, well, it only happened like 4 years ago when he like came out of retirement or whatever, was caught a touchdown in a game that they were getting completely blown out in, and it was a buzzer beater too. So he just scored, and I think he just like ran off or something. Like he didn't even stay on the field, if I remember correctly.
Jimmy. Well, you don't remember Jimmy Graham's 2023 4-touchdown year. It was really weird that he came back after like 2 seasons of being gone. Had 4 touchdowns. How did he do that? And then like he got like arrested.
Did he really?
Yeah, because he like went like mentally insane.
Oh, so he was actually nuts. I mean, I knew he was nuts. I didn't know.
I mean, that's like a CTE.
Oh yeah,
like to a T.
I want to see if I can find that last touchdown. He like just ran off the field. He scored at the last second and just ran off. But yeah, that guy was nuts. I guess figuratively.
Yeah, he was found wandering in traffic and was arrested for being under the influence and obstructing a police officer.
All right. Well, I'm glad
Nick Boyle's got to take care of him.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear Jimmy Graham.
Boyle roughed him up in the back.
Oh man, I think you had a good list though. Like the guys that had to be on there were on there. Like going
Chris Cooley had to be on there.
Yeah,
I need like somebody watching to like edit like a Chris Cooley edit right now to like any Alice in Chains song. Okay, really edit any of my guys to Alice in Chains songs. There wasn't a lot of diversity here. They all kind of looked the same. They would all work.
Oh man, I'm kind of mad I didn't do that. Well, that was good. I enjoyed that. Well, I guess on that same wavelength, we probably could get into our top 5 candies of all time. Candies, like not tight ends, candies.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Give me your list. Give me your candies so I can make fun of you for your bad picks.
So I know a lot of people will differentiate chocolate from like candy. So from what it sounded like pre-show, you didn't do that. So
no, I mean, like talk to Willy Wonka, see what he has to say about that shit, because he will drown you. He will hold you under his chocolate river, but he will also like give you a gobstopper, or your normal looking blue candy. He doesn't differentiate, and he's the king of candy.
A gobstopper is like a crazy pull. Talk about a bad candy. Fuck a gobstopper.
Yeah, talk to Willy Wonka about that. He'll beat you. He'd beat you to death with a gobstopper.
Well, that's a good
Talking
point
about-
because his factory had. Oh wait, that was just chocolate though, wasn't it?
They definitely had some actual candy.
Did
There's
he?
no way they didn't.
Did Willy Wonka have actual candy in there? I think it was just
I'm
chocolate.
sure he did. I feel like he would have blown up if it was only chocolate.
Yeah, probably. All right, so my top 5 candies. I am kind of basic. I'm not really that crazy with my candy, but I'm gonna go. If you remember, at 5, the blow pops, the suckers
I respect
that
it.
have gum in the middle. Those are by far my favorite suckers of all time.
I just don't like saying it.
Blow pop.
I want to blow pop. You want to blow who? Like that's how I think of every time I go to eat one of those. So I can't do it.
Yeah, but those I feel I remember always when I played hockey growing up, they would have the snack shop in the ring, and they would sell them for 25 cents, and it was like my go-to candy.
It's a good deal.
I don't know what the names of these are, but at number 4, I think they're like peach rings. They're like,
oh my god,
shaped like keys or rings, but they're like peach candy. But it's so good. Another candy that I ate a lot while growing up playing hockey. They would have them. We'd go up to Canada, and for some reason, only the rink in Canada had them, and they were so good. 25 cents. I haven't had a fucking peach ring in so long. I guess I am a little bit different with some of these.
Yeah,
number 3.
This is like the opinions of like someone from like the 1800s.
Okay,
talking about peach rings.
Well, at number 3, man, I'm kind of regretting this pick now that I think about it. But I'll go back to it. I'll say this is out of order. I'm going to take that off. I got to think about it.
Say
again.
what you thought.
I got to think about it again. Number 2, though, is Nerds Rope. I am a sucker for a Nerds Rope. And they also do the clusters.
Better.
They might be. But it's the same thing. So
yeah, it is. It's just one's less messy, I guess.
Yeah. But oh man, I fuck with Nerds Ropes. And last, well, not last, but first is got to be Sour Patch Kids, but watermelon. The watermelon Sour Patch Kids.
I understand that.
Those are
a good pick.
Not niche, but I feel like when people get Sour Patch Kids, it's usually just Sour Patch Kids. Like I'm going to watermelon every time.
Really?
And the one I was going to bring in, but I'm going to kick off now was Airheads. Like I love Airheads, but I feel like there are just so many other ones that could probably fit on here.
I hate actual Airheads. Airheads Extremes. Now we're in business. The little strips with like the sugar stuff on top.
Yeah.
Now we're in business.
I don't know if I've ever had an Airhead Extreme.
Oh, well, Airheads themselves are poop. Airheads Extremes are the good ones.
Really? You think they're bad? There's something like kinda. Sucking on an Airhead. Like,
just like yeah. I mean, it's like Jolly Ranchers. Like the idea of them is so much better than the actual candy.
Yeah, I get that. Well, I guess I'll do a couple like candies that are just right on the fence that I have to mention. So I love any sort of milk chocolate, like or caramel milk chocolate, like the Lindt. What's that popular candy company? Lindt or Lindor or something? Yeah, those chocolate caramel balls are so good.
I know what you're talking about.
I also love Swedish Fish. But I think if one had to make my final top 5, it's got to be Gushers. Just traditional old Gushers. What do you mean?
I understand.
Those are OG. Those are.
I wasn't even thinking of them. I wasn't even thinking of them as a candy because you find them like with the fruit snacks in the the chip aisle. If you go to Kroger, they're not chips, but you know what I mean. Like you find them in that aisle.
Fuck! I forgot about one other one.
Scooby-Doo fruit snacks?
Yes.
The OG blue one?
Yes.
The one that they can't sell anymore because it'll kill you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so yeah, my top 5, certifiably, Nerds Rope, Watermelon Sour Patch.
Okay.
It's Peach Ring. This is not in order. What else did I say? I'm going the Milk Chocolate Lindor, Caramel Milk Chocolate Lindor, and Gushers.
I understand that. I share a few similars. Actually, I share one of your actual similars and an honorable mention. Number 5, I did have Nerds Gummy Clusters because they're easier to eat. I can pop them in my mouth. I don't have to like shove a rope down my mouth to eat this thing and have a mess in my car. I'll honorable mention the Shaq gummies, the Shaquille O'Neal gummies that just came out.
What the
Like
fuck?
Shaq-alicious. They look exactly like Shaq's face. Yeah,
What
I
made
drove
you
to
try these?
Well, I was driving to Indianapolis and I got gas, and I saw Shaq-alicious, like it's Shaq's face just staring at me in 3 different colors and flavors. So I had to spend $3.99 on a bag of Shaq-alicious out of curiosity, and curiosity did kill the cat because I didn't feel good afterwards. But
But they were
they were
good
they were pretty good. Yeah, I ate the whole
Made your
bag.
top 5?
No, they're an honorable mention, but
Oh, you
I
said
had to
honorable.
say them before I forgot.
Fair enough.
Nerds Gummy Clusters 5, Mike and Ike's 4, before or after their breakup. Because they're so fucking good. And people always say that until they try one. They're like, holy shit, these are good. I'm like, I know, I was telling you.
They're good, but it's just like they're so far down on the list of like best candies. Like if I wanted my go-to candy, Mike and Ike's.
You put peach rings on there. You put gas station.
You've never had a peach ring.
I have had peach rings. That's why I make fun of them. They're an old person candy. You're not beating the Unk allegations whatsoever with your peach rings pick. Werther's Originals. You want to keep you mean the center console of your car and just
fuck you.
Munch on a Werther's Original.
Just wait till you hear one of my favorite cereals. I'll save that for another episode. But
oh, okay. Honey bunches of oats.
I'm not gonna give any hint today, but I might tell on myself with that one.
Well, I did put the most slept on 100 grand, the best chocolate bar ever created. Has like that nougat and that other kind of flavor. You can't really like explain what it is until you have it. It's so good. I did put Swedish Fish on here because when I go to the movies, which is often, I put them in my popcorn. I get a whole bag.
What?
I tear it open over the thing of popcorn. Give it a shake as loud as I can, and then I eat the sweet and the salty at the same time. Everyone thinks it's crazy. I go to the movies once a week. I swear, it's so good.
You say everyone thinks it's crazy as if it's not crazy
until they try it. I thought it was crazy.
That?
I thought it was crazy. I was told about it. I tried it and it was so good.
That's got
sweet and salty collide.
That's got to be the craziest thing I've ever heard. By the time you're done, like by the time the piece of popcorn is gone, you're still chewing for 7 minutes to get rid of the fucking Swedish Fish. So it's like, it's not like they don't like melt in their mouth together.
I don't freeze them. Like they're room temperature. They're at 68 degrees.
I can appreciate Swedish Fish because I loved them growing up, but I feel like they just got old to me as I got older.
They get old when you eat a whole bag of them because you feel sick afterwards. But like if you have a few, it's like top tier.
Yeah.
And then I also put Reese's Pieces on here because they are so they taste nothing like the cups. But they're elite in their own way, and everyone talks about the cups. Nobody talks about the pieces, but the pieces are better.
I cannot believe that a couple of the biggest names didn't even get mentioned here, but I don't think they deserve
Skittles and M&Ms.
Yeah, exactly.
What year is it? Is it World War II? Like I don't care about Skittles and M&Ms, Hershey's bars. Get out of here.
Yeah, I agree. There's just so much competition. They don't clear the bar anymore. And without Red 40, what the fuck's a Skittle?
Right. I mean, I already have ADHD. That shit can't hurt me. Like, what's it gonna do? Make me more neurodivergent? Fuck it. That's where I get my football knowledge from. I only have them to thank.
Yeah, really.
Fuck you, RFK. This is where I get smart from.
They're gonna single-handedly kill Skittles.
Yeah, get out of here. I like my Red Dye 40.
All right, that was fun. We're gonna start doing a surprise category that's completely off topic every episode. It could be like not even just Summit, just
top 5 favorite weapons. Yeah.
Yeah. Can we do that?
What are your favorite natural disasters?
Okay.
In order.
We can do this. We can get so deep with that. That's exciting. I kind of want to just do that for the rest of the episode, but I have nothing prepared. All right. We'll get back on track. So we have a couple categories left.
We could rank the top 10 tight ends currently in the NFL.
Yes.
It's a big one. It matters.
We'll get serious for a second again here.
Let's get serious again.
All right.
I have some hate agendas to push.
Oh wow.
Not actually. I'm just kidding.
I
like all these guys.
I hope so. They're in your top 10.
I know.
All right. I'll rip through mine real quick. So number 1 is George Kittle. I don't think that can be debated at this stage, in my opinion. And number 2, I have Brock Bowers. 3, I have Trey McBride. I think those should be everyone's top 3. 4, I do have Sam Laporta. I'm not giving up on Sam Laporta. I refuse. At 5, I have another guy you kind of slighted a little bit earlier in the episode. David Njoku is a dog. Like, he ain't no fake dog. David Njoku is very good after the catch. David Njoku is great at the catch point. He's strong. Like, what about David Njoku is there not to like? The one time he had a fucking quarterback with Jameis Winston, he was producing like a top tight end. There's no coincidence there. So I'm giving David Njoku some love. So that's my top 5. At 6, I do have Kelsey. I can't keep lowering him that far because I think when he will want to put pedal to the metal, he will still be one of the best. At 7, I have Tucker Kraft. I think he just had such a tremendous breakout season. He deserves to be here. 8 is where I have TJ Hawkinson, which is probably low for a lot of people, but I think everyone above him does so many other things. And even if Njoku, for example, doesn't, I think he's probably just as good of a fucking receiver, in my opinion. At 9, I have Isaiah Likely, who maybe someday we'll see fully break out. And 10, I have Dallas Goedert.
Okay.
So
we actually differentiate a pretty good bit on this list, but the top 3 remain the same. George Kittle, Brock Bowers, Trey McBride. I wouldn't be mad if you put Bowers or McBride at 1. Like, I actually would not care, but Kittle for the time being, until he slows down, will remain in that spot. I do still have Hawkinson at 4. I know there's the hate train coming, but how rare is it to put up like pretty much 1,000 yards if you didn't get hurt like in your final game as a tight end? And Njoku ain't out here getting 1,000 yards.
Who's throwing to him? Who's throwing to him? Someone from fucking Sesame Street's throwing to him every fucking year.
He's been in the NFL since like 2018. He's had his chance.
Whatever.
He's had his chance with the quarterback. Yeah, Brock Bowers has Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. Trey McBride has Kyler Murray. That bum.
Still all better than anything poor David's ever had to deal with.
He's fine. Deshaun Watson was good at one point. Just not for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Njoku made him worse. See, this is my new gimmick. Njoku makes quarterbacks worse, which is why the Browns have never had a good quarterback. He did have Baker. He didn't do shit. All right, I'm kidding. He's good. He's good.
I forgot about
He's
that.
good. He's fine. 5. I'm gonna remain hopeful. I'm actually gonna still put Mark Andrews here, and this is if he doesn't melt down. The dude had like 11 touchdowns last year, and like legit was like the best red zone tight end in the NFL, and he's a good blocker. As long as he doesn't like mentally like destroy himself after that drop, he'll still be really good. 6, I actually was pretty high on him, Dallas Goedert. And I got to thinking, like, every time A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith go down, Goddard gets like 140 yards. Literally every single time. But I think that Hurts is not a very tight end friendly quarterback, and neither is their system. But like when push comes to shove and Goddard has to show up, he does every single time. 7 is as far as I drop Sam Laporta. I'm still pretty high on him. Like, that's not a bad ranking, especially after the season he had last year. It's just like he's so hard to predict. Like having to actually succeed without Ben Johnson. 8, this is where I put Kelsey. He's fat and hairy. I can drop him as far as I please. I'll drop him out of my top 10. I almost did, actually. Like, I don't think he is a top 10 tight end, but like I can't disrespect him like this.
That's how I felt. Like, I was
actually, I'm gonna. You know what? Number 8 is not Kelsey. 8 is Isaiah Likely instead. I love Isaiah Likely. I think he could probably be top 4 if he ever gets the chance to play that much. 9, Tucker Kraft. Very small sample size and didn't produce like crazy. Like, he had like 700 yards and probably 7 touchdowns, but
it's pretty good for not
good.
being a specialty. Like, he is he's a blocking first tight end. He's also good after the catch. That motherfucker can move.
He's very good after the catch. That's actually like all he's really good at as a receiver, but like he's so good at that like that works for me. And then 10 is where I have David Njoku. He's cool, He's cool. You're falling for the drip. He's a good tight end.
He made it.
Tight end.
Glad he made it at least.
Like he's been like production wise, and Njoku's never like really been all that special. And I think a lot of it comes off of his 2023 season, where like he did look really promising. But that was like he's only had one season above 650 yards and only one season above 5 touchdowns. So it is hard. It's just like the way he looks good doing it.
No, he's like the Terry McLaurin of tight ends. Just for so long, he's been buried in these god awful situations. He had 600 yards, 640 yards in 2018, his second year. Okay, that's not bad.
No,
and then like, when did Baker leave? What year?
And he was hurt probably like what 2020 or 2021.
Yeah, when did he get hurt?
It was probably 21. I think he played against Burrow in 2020. He probably left in 21.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So with him, he had like 213 in 2020, 475.
Oh, he was there in 2021 actually.
He didn't do anything with him.
Baker.
His best year was with Flacco. That's the only year he really like produced like a top 10 tight end. Well, he is like a sufficient blocker. He's not special, but he is like a sufficient blocker.
Yeah.
So it does get him like some extra points.
I mean, why? I don't know exactly what his numbers looked like with just Jameis, but it was fucking good. Like he was balling. Give me David Njoku top 5.
Ugh.
Fuck your anti-drip. Your anti.
He hated Hawkinson. He hates Hawkinson because Hawkinson has no drip. He's ugly and he looks weird, but he produces, and that's what matters.
Like stylistically speaking, like Njoku's better. I don't care.
Stylistically, this is like the Amon-Ra St. Brown thing. It's like, oh yeah, he produces. Oh yeah, I know he's great and all that. I don't like the way that he does it.
It's just like
I don't like the way Hawkinson looks.
It's not anything special. I'm sorry. Like fucking Josh Oliver gets more playing time than his ass half the time. I'm sorry.
Hawkinson had 95 catches for 960 yards the last time he was healthy.
Whatever. Look,
how many games did he play this year?
Hawkinson?
Yeah. So I know he like shredded his knee like at the end of the season.
I think he played
a few years ago.
11 or 12 games. Because he came back a little sooner than I think people were expecting him to, which I think was like 6 or 7. Oh, he actually played 10 games. I lied. Kind of about.
How many did Njoku play? Because they had like almost the same stat line in terms of yards.
Do I have to say it again? Why? Do I have to say why?
That's the quarterback.
The thing is, you're going to get shot for not having Kelsey in your top 10. I'm going to get shot for this. So we'll both be dead. So it doesn't matter.
People can shoot me all they want. He's fat and he's hairy. if anyone makes fun of me, I'm just going to send in the picture of him being photographed by his car. I'm like, this is a top 10 tight end to you. I've been historically very high on Kelsey, even when some weren't. But like the playoffs were like the worst I have ever seen a player play. Yeah. How bad Kelsey looks. So I'm just dropping him off that completely.
Fair enough. All right, what do we have left here?
I hate Taylor Swift. Well, I'll get those guys on my side. They're like the anti Taylor Swift fans. They're like, yeah, he's right. He's a bum.
All right, we have 2 categories left, and this one is another fun category. We did the top 5 tight ends to invite to the barbecue. Another one where it's like, I don't know what the criteria was for you, but I'm interested.
I don't have one.
I know, really. This was completely. Every guy on here is on here for different reasons, to be honest. So, at number 5, Tyler Warren does make another appearance. He just seems like the guy. He just seems like he's at the grill the entire time, and he's got a beer in one hand. And he's making 150 burgers, 150 hot dogs. And he's just chilling. He's not stressing. He's got it down pat. That's Tyler Warren. At 4, I have Kyle Pitts, only because I want to ask him what the fuck is going on. Like, if I could get Kyle Pitts in my backyard and I could get him like a couple beers in, like, bro, what's going on?
He would trip. He would trip on the way there. I would pancake block him into the ground.
He seems like a pretty smart guy, so maybe I could pick his brain about like finance or something. He probably knows a lot about that.
Kyle Pitts about finance. Yeah.
At number 3, this is purely based off of his name, but Johnny Munt absolutely has to be it at the barbecue. Like
Johnny Munt is actually really funny.
Really?
Like if you look up Johnny Munt South Carolina photos, he has like it's equivalent of like the Jake Hayner where he looked like really like they call it like the Jake Hayner zesty photo. If you look at like the Johnny Munt, like I'm sure if you put it like zesty photo.
This looks
I'm
like
sure.
a goofy guy.
Yeah, I'm sure there's something, but either way, I like that's a good list. I'm sure Johnny Munt knows his way around the grill.
Yes. Same with Taysom Hill, another guy that I think would be great in a barbecue setting in the backyard, beer in hand. Like, I think Taysom Hill, you could probably dress him up in street clothes. You'd have no idea he was even an NFL player. So
yeah.
He fits right in with us regular people. And then at number 1, I also have Brock Bowers. Like, he just seems like he should not be playing football.
Yeah.
He probably would be better fit to be skimming the pool, getting all the helicopters
skimming the pool,
out.
yeah.
Mid-barbecue, skimming the helicopters and leaves out of the pool instead of playing football. But
yeah, check the trap, Brock. Yeah, like get that frog out of there.
Hey, Brock, we need more hamburger buns.
I know. He's like, okay.
He fits as well.
I like that. I made 2 different lists, one of current players and one of all-time players.
Why didn't you tell me you did this?
I'm prepared. I'm prepared for all. I always have like 10 lists that never get used just in case. But it seems like you went current players, so I'll stay in that same wavelength. I did have Brock Bowers. He just like that Southern accent. I trust it. Like I trust that his dad showed him how to flip a burger and when and how to salt it. And like he's just like he's kind of funny. Like hearing them talk about how Gentie's all rocked up. Ugh, I don't like that, but I also have Tyler Warren purely off the way he looks. I feel like a guy with like that kind of hair, like those like weird glasses that he wears, and like he has to have been like a part of backyard grill outs for like his whole life. He's like a Midwestern guy. We grill over here. I had your best friend Tucker Kraft on here as well. That guy's like, I think he's from like the Dakotas. Like, they don't do anything. Like you don't just go out to go eat in South Dakota. Like, what am I gonna like take my horse and buggy into town to go get some Culvers? Like, no, we are going. Like, you're gonna make it at home. We're gonna shoot the little deer in the face and we're gonna cook it. I do have George Kittle for similar reasons. Like, he went to Iowa. Funny guy. Like, he could be an alcoholic in another life or in this one too. It's not too late. And then I do have Mo Alley Cox. I felt like the diversity was way off. So I did have to bring in a non-white guy. But I do think that Mo Alley Cox knows his way around a grill. Like, that is important.
Is it? Oh, we fucked up. Do you know who's not? Oh, well, these are tight ends. I was going to say a guy that definitely should be here is Matt Collins, but these are tight ends.
I don't trust that dude's so dirty. Don't touch my food. Like, I don't want Matt Collins. I bet he doesn't use I bet he's so against like using soap. He'll do this because
yeah,
it's like
right.
It's all actual like detergent. It's not real soap.
Oh, you use ketchup on your hot dog?
Okay.
You know what's in ketchup? Like,
oh, you trust the FDA? You do? You trust the FDA? Yeah, he's one of those. I hate him.
Go change my HVAC.
My all-time wasn't too crazy. I did put Mike Dick on there because I imagine like Mike Dick on the grill. That dude knows what he's doing. And then I did put Julius Thomas and Jimmy Graham together because they were the first 2 tight ends I had on my fantasy football team in like 2013, and they won me the championship. So I do owe them. I owe them something, and this is my best way to repay them.
I like that. I don't know if I had anybody that I felt like I was indebted to that I would have invited over.
Indebted to? Hawkinson's won because he also won me a fantasy championship in 2023.
Fair enough.
Because of how freaking good he was.
No, you know,
tight end 1 all year long.
Yeah, Njoku was good 2023. Right?
He was fine.
Yeah, he was good. No, he was good.
He wasn't Njoku, but he was good.
Okay, whatever. All right. We'll crush our last category here. We promise this is the last one. These are our top 5 tight ends of all time. I also have some agendas to push here. So
really? I feel like mine was just like no agendas. This is like I'm not a fan of any of these guys. It's just like I think this is the order they belong in. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a crazy order, but you go ahead because you have the agendas.
So I'll start at 5. This might sound insane right now, but this is more of a projection too. I think George Kittle is going to end up a top 5 tight end ever. George Kittle right now has like 50 or so, 60, depending on who you're looking at, less games than like so many of the guys on the top receiving yards list for tight ends. Yet he's 13th on this list already. Like if he plays just as long as a lot of these tight ends do, he's going to be at the top of this list by the time it's all said and done. And same thing with touchdowns too. He's got 45 already. If he keeps on this trajectory, I think George Kittle, just given how well-rounded he is too, and everything that goes into Kittle, personality, on the field play, everything just will make him, a top 5 tight end ever. So I'm big on George Kittle.
I like that.
At 4, I got to have Tony Gonzalez. I think he was one of the best, especially between the 20s tight ends. I know you probably have him. Everyone probably has him. Tony Gonzalez at 4. At number 3, I have Antonio Gates. I think Antonio Gates is the greatest tight end in the red zone ever. Like, it's kind of hard to replicate the success that Antonio Gates had in that area, the toughest area on the field to be successful at. That's kind of where tight ends started to make a name receiving wise. And then, of course, the Travis Kelce's, but like all those sorts of tight ends started to come around. But Antonio Gates was a true difference maker when it came to scoring points, and that's what's most important. So I think we kind of lose the plot about that sometimes. He could score all the time. At number 2, drum roll, I have Gronk at number 2. So there's not much to say. I guess there's more explanation for my number 1, who is Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce's production is undeniable. It's like his postseason production specifically is just off the charts. And he's going up against Rob Gronkowski in this conversation, who played in just as many postseason games, who had just as much of an opportunity to produce at the highest level on the biggest stage as Kelce has had. I mean, Kelce has had arguably even less. I don't know how many games they've played in the postseason off the top of my head, but Kelce's postseason numbers are just ridiculous. I gotta pull them up. I'll do that while you name your 5, but it's just insane how productive he's been.
I had the same 4. I had a different 5, and Kittle definitely could be on here. I just based it off of what they've done already and not about like where they could be. But 5, the only difference, I have Shannon Sharp. He kind of like created the mold of like the modern day like athletic receiving tight end, and I think he does deserve props for that. 4, that's where I put Antonio Gates. Still an absolute legend. Could be a little bit higher. I most know him for being a guest star in The League, where he punched one of the characters in the face in a hot tub. That was a great scene. 3, that's where I put Travis Kelce. But my top 3 are very, very close together, and it's only like the differences between the blocking and I think where I think the guys ahead of them could have been if they stayed healthier. Number 2 is where I put Tony Gonzalez. It's the Jerry Rice argument. It's like he did it for a very, very, very long time at a very, very high level. Like, how much do you value that versus like the peak? And that's where I put number 1 is Rob Gronkowski, because the peak is unlike anything we've ever seen. Like, legitimately unguardable. When Mossy would run you over, was the best blocking tight end in the NFL for a long time. Like, Gronk, like for like a 5-year stretch, was easily a top 3 NFL player in the NFL.
Yeah.
He just died because he played so damn hard that he like crushed his body. He also destroyed Tre'Davious White in the process.
He did. He launched himself at his back unnecessarily.
Had it coming.
Yeah, did he?
he chipped him and kind of like pissed Gronk off a little bit, and then like Gronk just destroyed him.
Yeah, it's just Kelce. I found most of the numbers. I wish I had more on hand, but last year was when he broke like Jerry Rice's fucking records in the postseason. Like, and he did it at that time playing 8 less games. That is insane as a tight end to do. And he was only at that time 3 touchdowns behind Jerry Rice. He was only 300 yards or so 400 yards behind Jerry Rice. I don't know what these numbers are. This is as of 2024. So he has just been dominant on the biggest stage in a way that I don't think Gronk was. And I don't think Gronk cleared him enough in the rest of the context of the conversation to make up for the difference in the postseason. Like, I value that high level performance on the biggest stage type of thing. And Kelce was the guy.
Well, Kelce didn't have any drip ever. So he's instantly not top 2 ever. Gronk had crazy drip with that giant ass elbow pad that he wore like the last half of his year. Yeah, Gronk was more one of those things that, like, when people talk to you about it, like when your kids ask you, they're like, how good was Gronk? You know, like, he only had a couple of good years. And you're like, children, you had to be there. Like, the fear of God was put in safeties when they had to go again. Like that play against the Colts where he just like was maniacally laughing as he slammed everyone's heads into the ground. He was just running and then like tried to jump over a guy, ended up running over another guy. Like, Gronk is one of those guys where you had to have been there and you had to have watched what he did. And Kelce is kind of the opposite, where you're like, every single game, you're just like, oh my God, how did he get open again? Like, everyone does it because it doesn't look sexy. Like, it's the most boring style of play ever, but like, it just works. And he just found a way to master the position from the receiving element. So like, I don't hate it because especially like longevity wise, that does matter. And Kelce definitely like wins in that and the production standpoint.
Yeah, and I know people love the physicality level, the physicality type of play. I know you being one of them. Like, you love when someone runs someone over. You love the run block. You love all of that stuff. And not that I don't value it much. I value it a lot. But I think what Kelce is able to do as a receiver is really nothing that a lot of receivers ever could dream of being in their entire NFL career. And he was doing it as a tight end. He's by far the best receiving tight end ever, in my opinion. And especially in a day and age now that is very, I guess I will say, pass heavy, but it varies.
He did the thing. He said it.
He just was unguardable. I mean, he was unguardable in a different way. And like you said, it's less sexy, so people aren't going to love it.
Yeah, he wasn't like striking the fear of God in people. They were just like, oh my God, he run farther, like run an actual real route. Like, he's just running like a small 3-yard hitch and then like shakes a guy somehow. Like, he always just finds a way, which is like the crafty part of the game that no other tight end has ever been able to figure out like him. So he does deserve absolutely to be up there. It's just like tight ends are like the most, they're all so different from one another, which is why it's so crazy. Like, some people value like elite run blocking, like an extension of the run game, being a sixth lineman and just dominating. And some people really like the guys like Kelce, where it's like you can count on him for 100 yards in every healthy young playoff game that he was a part of. He is by far the best playoff tight end ever, but 100%.
And that's kind of what it comes down to. Like, what is going to make that difference in the AFC Championship or in the Super Bowl? Will it be the tight end that is, you know, the better run blocker, or is it the one that does end up with 100 yards and a touchdown? Like,
well, I also have Barry Sanders as the best running back of all time. So like, sometimes it is like, it's not about postseason for me. It's just about like, what could they do? What did they do? Who would I pick on my own team? Is kind of how I value it. I definitely would take Gronk over Kelce if I'm like building a team for 1 year, if they're all in their primes. And that's why I put him at 1. But like, in total body of work, if you have a portfolio and you're handing it to a child who just has to read off what they've done, look at the stats, look at the awards, Kelce definitely could take that and be number 1 for sure.
Yeah, and he's still fucking playing, so.
Yeah, it's super annoying. He's fat and hairy.
All right, so that will wrap up the tight end summit. This extended in many directions, and it was a blast. So I hope you guys enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed recording it for you. Anyone get it? Drake reference? No. Okay.
No one cares about Drake.
Okay, whatever. If you enjoyed, as always, like, comment, subscribe, share. Check out all of our socials in the description, all of our individual socials down there as well. And also join the Discord server, by the way. Link in bio. I forgot to mention at the start, which maybe I'll re-record. But join the Discord server down in the description if you're into fantasy football. We talk about football all the time in there, but fantasy football being in season, we do a lot of talking about that. So make sure you communicate with us best through there. And we'll see you in episode 37.